Hello and welcome. My name is Garth Sharif.
I'm Josh Sager.
And you're listening to The Fraud Complex, a podcast where we unpack wild true crime fraud stories. Today on The Fraud Complex, we are excited to have as our very first guest, no pressure, Kelly, to reveal a fraud story, fellow CFE certified fraud examiner, author, and podcast host, founder of Fraudish, Kelly Paxton, aka the Pink Collar Crime Lady. Awesome nickname. Kelly has more than 20 years of investigative experience and started her career in law enforcement as a special agent for U.S. Customs investigations in 1993. Kelly is also the proud owner of pinkcollarcrime.com, a passion of hers about embezzlement in the workplace. She's founded Great Women in Fraud in August of 2020. Her book, Embezzlement, How to Prevent, Detect, and Investigate Pink Collar Crime, was published in December 2020. Welcome to the Fraud Complex, Kelly.
Thank you. This is the definition of pink collar crime. It's all about position, not gender. But the definition, which was popularized in 1989, is low to medium level employees, comma, primarily women, comma, who steal from the workplace. It's garden variety embezzlement. Women do it better. And I'm also known as the fraud hashtag queen. So I'll probably throw out lots of hashtags during this. Hashtag never underestimate a woman, or in this case, never underestimate Gladys. So Rita Crundwell was the controller for the town of Dixon, Illinois, and she stole $53.7 million over almost 19 years. Now, the sad sort of jumping to the end of the story is she just got her sentence commuted. She had like 19 years, 7 month sentence, and she did less than half of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Josh, have we had a female fraudster?
We've had a married couple, but yeah, it's been mostly men. And
okay.
I'm very intrigued, Kelly. You say women do it better. And I'm always trying to, in some ways, this podcast is about me collecting tips for my future. And, my wife is very trustworthy, but I think, with a little bit of training, she could pull something like this off. So I'm going to be taking notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not an explicit learning objective of the show, but Josh is actually is gaining some skills on how to commit fraud from our fraud stories.
Every episode, I'm a little more qualified.
And now you're gonna bring your wife into this. I love it. That's great. Thanks.
She and I can talk.
So 53 million, and it was over 19 years. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And it's Rita Crundwell.
Crundwell. Yes.
Crundwell. Okay.
Crundwell. Yeah.
I have heard of this case. I know a bit about it, even as a Canadian. Josh, have you heard of this case?
No, brand new.
All right. Well, we've got the main character, Kelly. Where would you like to take us next?
So first off, there's an excellent documentary called All the Queen's Horses that was produced by Kelly Richmond Pope, who is an accounting professor at DePaul University. I highly recommend the movie. She did a fantastic job. What I like about this case is it kind of ticks everything about pink collar crime, aka garden variety embezzlement. There is a woman who has knocked Rita off the gold standard, and she stole over $100 million from the U.S. Army. But I was talking to someone who is very knowledgeable of the $100 million case, and what he said was this woman is just uninteresting. Now, Rita she was uninteresting except for the fact she had a horse obsession. She had, when she was arrested, she had over 400 horses. She was world renowned for her quarter horses. So I have a thing called a fraud museum, and I buy little trinkets about fraud things. And so I have a pink ribbon. I bought these on, I think, eBay. These are some of the, oh my gosh, I haven't pulled them out for a while. I have like 5 ribbons that I bought on eBay, and these are all Rita Crundwell ribbons.
Get out of town.
Oh, I have all sorts of all sorts of things.
These are ribbons with medals, and they're
so
all her
one
winnings.
was the All-American Quarter Horse Congress, and she got first place for amateur 19 98 and older geldings. The pink one was the 3-year-old open trail fifth place. I mean, come on, do better, Rita.
Fifth, yeah, come on, yeah, I agree.
And then All-American Quarter Horse Congress, and I think she got, second place. So I do all these. But so Rita was uninteresting, and except for the fact in the horse world, she was very interesting.
400 horses.
Yeah, because
I'm just thinking, we're going to talk about how she got away with this, but you would need a fair amount of property for 400 horses.
She had a couple farms.
Not that about horses. Black Stallion is about as much, the deep movie side of. Josh, what's your knowledge on horses?
Very little. I just know it's an expensive hobby.
Yes.
And I would think someone who is very business savvy could make money off horses, but if you weren't, maybe not. Yeah, I guess I don't know much at all.
Not finishing fifth. You got to do better than fifth.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a winner.
She had tons. I mean, I wasn't able to buy trophies, but she was world renowned.
How much did those cost you? The ribbons?
$25 or something.
Oh, that's great. That's a good deal.
Yeah. Well, the marshals had to auction off pretty much everything except maybe her underwear. Yeah.
Wow.
So because she stole $53 million and they wanted to recover some of the money.
Okay.
And so they sold her horses. It's kind of ironic. One of the horses that they sold, the highest one was, to a Canadian, I believe. Go Canada. What, elbows up? So, so I think they sold it to a Canadian and it was for over $750,000. And I can't remember the name of this. I think it was Willie. Good, I Will Be. And he died shortly thereafter. Put him down. It's kind of sad. No. But in the horse world, the male horse semen is actually worth a lot.
That's the big money part.
Yeah.
Why do you say that like you know this, Josh?
Here's my true knowledge of horses. You get a winner, and that winner retires, and then that horse semen is the gravy train.
It's like an annuity. It's an annuity. A sperm annuity. Never heard that on this show before, have you?
No, we haven't.
Well, we have a title now, so...
We have a title for the show.
Sperm annuity.
We're going to lose our rating on Spotify. That's okay.
I sworn.
Well, I just don't know where horse semen ranks on the whole list of what these channels consider G-rated content. But just as the first time you've surprised me with animal knowledge, because you did on our last episode give us a lot. It was on a bear scheme, and Josh had a lot of knowledge about bears. So this is interesting. So there's many things about horses in my head already. Horses dying in Canada, horse semen. So she's into the horses. She's getting it. She has these horses. That's one of the only thing that is interesting about her. So other than that,
otherwise she's very uninteresting.
Uninteresting.
What's curious to me about this is it seems like some of the cases we've covered, it's been more about opportunity or some sense of spite or feeling unseen that leads people to commit this type of crime. But for her, it seems like she has a dream or a passion, and she's using her embezzlement to fuel this passion. It's kind of refreshing in a way.
So she never had children, and her horses were her children. And I think the biggest punishment for her wasn't going to prison. It was going to a prison that didn't have horses.
Right.
I mean, you see, and you'll see it in the video, in the movie, you see her love. It's like love for a child. I mean, this woman's glowing when she's out, in the horse world. And she was incredibly well known in the horse world.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I knew a little bit about this. I didn't know that much into horses. Josh, I'll ask Josh this question. Josh, where do you think, because this is the city of Dixon, the birth hometown of Ronald Reagan. Josh, she's working at the government, the city of Dixon. What do you think she's doing there? What do you think her job is?
Well, I think Kelly mentioned she was a controller, and I've heard that term thrown around. And to me, is that a glorified accountant?
Okay, well, she didn't go to college. Didn't graduate. She may have taken a few accounting courses, but she started in high school kind of interning in City Hall. And I don't want to say it's glorified bookkeeping or glorified accounting, because if you do a good job, it's not. Did she do a good job? Only for herself.
Right.
And what's really interesting, it's a small town, and, and you watch the movie and you see that this town is struggling. They are laying off cops. They are laying off firefighters.
One of the themes that we've had in this show is that we try to find the human side. We'll find the human side to Rita. I already like her a little bit because of this horse thing. But, of course, they're doing bad stuff, and there are consequences to the good people of Dixon, the bullet-loving police officers, the fire department. And this is over 19 years. And so she's a glorified accountant, as Josh. Josh is not a CPA or a CFE, so he comes in and hurts my feelings sometimes with this of accountants.
It's always accountants. But I know this has to do with the fraud risk triangle, and opportunity is a big part of it. So I'm not trying to be down on accountants, but I'm just saying they're poised to make they make opportunities for themselves at times. And I'm happy to be corrected on this.
So you've brought up the fraud triangle, and, you have opportunity, pressure, and rationalization. And Garth, you're recent CFE, but opportunity, you kind of can control for the easiest because you can do a ton of internal controls. Now, it might cause your business to grind to a stop, but the pressure, rationalization, just, this is why we have theripists.
So this is where I like to start, for me at least. Like, let's go back 19 years to because it started 19 years ago, so the younger Rita Crundwell. So the motivation is potentially the horses. Is there anything else that comes up in your mind? Is there any disgruntlement? Is there any beef she has with the city of Dixon, being underpaid, any of those things?
So she made like $55,000 a year. There is a podcast, and I can't for the life of me, because I listen to podcasts all the time. I can't for the life of me.
We like that.
The name of the podcast, but it talks about Rita growing up. And there's some psychological issues, let's just say, that Rita had growing up. And I think one thing was, and I hope I don't have this wrong, like she didn't win Homecoming Queen.
Ouch.
And there's another guy who stole from and you've talked about this, the fruitcake factory, haven't you? Yeah. McNutt?
We have.
Okay, do you know? Yeah, so do you know what an aptonym is?
No.
You told me, but I forgot. Right.
Okay, so an aptonym is your name. Okay, Garth. Now, I know you're Sharif, but it could be Garth Sheriff.
It could be.
And you're a law person.
Right.
My maiden name is Hunt, and my kids are like, well, you hunted people. So Bob McNutt of the fruitcake. McNutt. There are nuts in fruitcakes. So
that's the we had a few of those. We had a McNutt. We had, who was the one for the Amish fraud? That was Real.
Philip Real.
Yeah, keeping it a real fraud.
Fake.
Yeah.
There is a woman who stole $15 million from a German company in North Carolina, and her last name is Steele. Now, it's Steele, but I'm not hiring anyone to touch my money with the last name Steele. So, yeah. So, see, fun fraud fact or fun English fact, you now know what an aptonym is. So, Josh, you're going to start seeing them everywhere.
Yeah.
Is there an aptonym here in this case?
In Rita's, well, not her, but her horses. So she has, so there's a whole way of how you, apparently, I don't know this, like from my experience, but there is a way you name horses, and it has to do with the provenance of the horse and the mother and the father, or what, mom, dad, whatever. And she's got some of these horse names that you just cannot believe. Money's Moxie Recip. Let's see. Swift all the time. Oh, Jewels by Tiffany. Let's see. Ain't I a natural? Isn't she a natural for stealing? I found a penny. It should be I found millions. I mean, these horses' names are like, oh God, she scores. Yeah. The good girls only. Like, okay, Rita was not a good girl.
You think she's trying to get like some of the psychological weight off
Freudian
her?
Slips.
Freudian slips through the horses. Yeah, Yeah, that's an interesting way to maybe, and also maybe, but it could also be braggadocious. Like, look at me, I'm going to name these horses so outrageously based on the fact that I'm stealing from the city and funding my horse addiction. I don't know, is there a term for horse addiction?
I don't know. Just maybe OCD, obsessive.
It does feel compulsive, right? Like 400
Yeah.
or so horses and stealing. And, at any point, you have to wonder at any point, why is the pressure? Like, I do joke about being, a potential fraudster in my future, but I actually think the pressure wouldn't be worth it for me. I wouldn't sleep. Do we know, was she kind of just okay with this, or there was a rush that went along with it that offset any pressure she felt or guilt, or maybe she felt none of that? I don't know.
So she had a double life. So she had her life in Dixon, where she was the controller, and I'm going to say she wore just regular clothes. And then she had her horse life. And her horse life was such that, she was dripping in diamonds, and, she would throw an annual birthday party, and you'll see it like in the movie, or if you ever see my presentation on Rita, they write about her in like the society pages, like jumbo shrimp and prime rib and music. And like she had clothing that if she had shown up in City Hall in that clothing, maybe people would go, this is not right.
Right.
And
so she dressed down for work. And
oh, yeah.
For the
Let's
horse
just say
people,
a frumpy
she was
accountant. No offense, Garth.
For the
You're
horse
not
people.
frumpy.
Oh.
But people did question, like, how is it she has, and I don't think people knew how exact many horses she had, but people question it. And so she had 3 stories she told people. First story was, my parents invested in the greater Chicagoland cable industry. And, if you invested in cable in the 90s, you probably are a gazillionaire.
Okay.
Second story was, my parents have a lot of Campbell's soup stock. Well, whatever. Mm-hmm. The third one was, I had a boyfriend who was very wealthy. He died and he left me boatloads of money.
Okay.
None of that was true. But that was the story she told people. And I don't know, maybe it's different in Canada, but in America, we don't really like to talk about money. Like, we'll talk about sex or horse sperm before we'll talk about how much
we have definitely lost our G rating here, but we like talking about sex and horse sperm in Canada. I would actually think maybe Canadians would be more modest with our money. But yeah, I think we're similar. I don't think we want to have questions, or people want to ask questions about where money comes from. So we're willing to accept those answers. That was the same in the fruitcake fraud, right, Josh? They accepted a lot of the stories that came from the case.
Yeah, inheritance, similar, cover stories. Although I think those guys were more, they had cars. I think they displayed their wealth a little bit more. I have an urgent question. It's spelled comptroller. Is that right?
So there's controller and comptroller.
Is that a different thing? This has bothered me for years. I know I'm totally derailing.
Controller, as I understand it, generally is more private sector. Comptroller is more municipal, as I understand it.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Let's rewind and please reframe your question.
No, I think it's good. I bet lots of people don't know.
No, that's a good question, Josh. And
Either way, they touch money.
They do. So, should we agree on comptroller or controller?
I think they show her as controller.
Controller,
I think she's more a comptroller, but whatever. She was in charge of every dime that went in and out of Dixon.
No, that's going to stay in the podcast, Josh, for education and also to have people question my credentials.
We'll get a lot of angry comments.
Like, this guy is CPA. He doesn't even... So, comptroller, controller, Rita... Where is the opportunity for her? What does she see as the way to begin this? Because she's not stealing $53 million in 1 year. It's over 19 years. So she's building up.
So there were 6 bank accounts for Dixon, Illinois. And in December, 19 years or more than 19 years ago, she opened a 7th bank account. And it was called the RSCDA or DCA. And that was it. And in money laundering, you call it seasoning. So she opens in December and the account sits for like a month. And then she puts a small little amount into that account that she siphons out from the city and no one notices it. So that becomes her slush fund.
That's so sinister.
And she's the one who, yeah. So in money laundering, it is you season an account. So you make it look like it has a history.
Right.
Seasoning. I like it. One, it sounds right and it makes me hungry, but I like it as a metaphor.
Yeah.
What do you think, Josh? Seasoning. Now we're gonna use that in the future.
It reminds me of, again, the fruitcake they, I think, took from the petty cash, step one.
That's right.
Just to see, look, it could have been impulsive. I mean, opening an account seems less impulsive.
Yeah.
Petty cash as a gateway or some small testing phase seems consistent.
To see if anyone notices.
And she didn't need to open this account to move in money. She didn't need any authorization from other parts of the city.
No, she didn't. But the bank eventually ended up having to pay part of a settlement back to the town of Dixon, Illinois, because we can talk about the money that was recovered, but the bank shouldn't have had her do this. Let's just
because this bank account was a city of Dixon account that she could take out personally.
Well, they thought it was a city of Dixon account. It
really
was
I see.
Her account.
It was her personal account, but it was disguised as a. Okay, and so she starts off with a little bit of seasoning, and how does she add? What do you do? Is it layers of seasoning, or is there another term once you put more seasoning? You over season?
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, it becomes tough. No, the meat is tough. It's like a brisket. It gets too tough. So over time, and I don't know if you've heard this term, but you're Canadian, so you should. The hockey stick.
Yes, there's a lot of Canadian references in here, but it's the hockey stick.
And look at you guys. Look what I have from Canada. Do you see that Paxton 2012-11?
Nice.
That was from a Canadian podcast. They sent me this beautiful hockey jersey with my book in it. Because Canadians are nice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Are you gonna?
One of my favorite fraud museum things. Yeah.
I feel some pressure on a guest gift now. That's an extraordinary gift.
I was shocked. I was literally shocked.
He's making it hard for other Canadians. That's great. We're very friendly. Expect a gift, Kelly. Something maybe not of the same magnitude, but you'll get something.
But so she started stealing, and it's little amounts, and then it starts, and it is up and to the right. Like the last full year of stealing, it was over 5 million.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. And so what's interesting is she always had excuses. And this is in Illinois. And Illinois, let's just say, has had some challenges in the past about budgets. They've had a governor that was kicked out, whatever. They've had some challenges.
I know that governor.
Yeah. Blagojevich, or I can't pronounce it.
Blagojevich,
yeah. Both pronouncing it incorrectly. But
yes,
we know where
so she would blame it on the state. When they didn't have money and they couldn't buy bullets and, blah, blah, blah. She was like, well, the state portion hasn't come. It's always a delay. The city council and the formation of the city council has now changed because of what Rita did. But the people that were on the city council, there was one guy who was like a math teacher. There was a guy who owned an appliance store. These people weren't used to accounting stuff. And they trusted Rita. Hashtag trust is not an internal control. I have a trust but verify shirt too.
Josh, there's a big week coming up, a big holiday. I'm Canadian, which I've been told sometimes it makes it hard for me to understand what's happening in the U.S., but what's going on?
We got a big holiday coming up, holiday season, and big deadlines coming up for CPAs, if I'm not mistaken.
See, that was nice of you, Josh, because I was interested in the holiday part of it, but yes, there's also the deadlines, and they are related in the fact that we have a promo code for you. It's Thanksgiving, long weekend, and Black Friday, and Cyber Monday. We have a coupon code, if you're listening, so that you could purchase the verifiable version of the Fraud Complex so that you can watch what we've done here, but also get credit for your ethics hours as a NASBA sponsor. That's going to be helpful for your year-end CPE, as Josh pointed out. So the coupon code, Josh, get ready for it. It's not fruitcake. If you've been listening to the end or wherever Adam puts this, who knows? It's been fruitcake since the very first episode. No, not very first. Whenever we did the fruitcake episode, the second episode, right? It's been fruitcake. Yeah, and it's not. It's actually related to the holiday. It is Black Friday week CPE 25. Could this have been shorter, maybe?
Maybe.
Josh? Maybe. It's too late. I can't change this now. So if you're listening, put it down to 0.5. Don't go up to, you can take it down from 1.5 to 0.5 and hear me out. Black Friday, week CPE 25. Not because of 2025, because you're getting 25% off as a gift from Josh and I to you. So have a great long weekend. Enjoy some 25% off our CPE. Go to onlinecpe.shreveconsulting.com to use your coupon code and listen to the Fraud Complex.
I'm curious, were these officials around her, was that on elected positions? Or
Yes.
That's always fascinated me coming from Canada, where we don't nominate, we don't elect people for that many things. But here your water commissioner needs to run, and things like that. And I'm just like, if I'm just popular and I don't know anything about being a water commissioner, I could still win that elected office, which is baffling to me.
Especially if your name is like Alex Anderson, because you're at the top of the ticket. Because
Yeah.
it's alphabetical.
Yeah, alphabetical.
So
I thought
you
you were going to go for Alex Water or something. I thought you were going to go for one of the.
Me too.
Dude, after them.
Waterman knows about water.
Yeah,
His last name is Waterman. He's got to elect him.
Yeah.
Okay, so as she's seasoning and moves into like a 1.5 million, she's covering this up by budget shortfalls that she's able to explain away. That's what she's doing over time. I see. And when you look at this from your experience, where do you see the holes here? Where could this have been prevented? What could have Dixon done? What could have whoever, who do you think could have identified this earlier so it didn't reach this point of 53 million?
Okay, so lots of things. First off, no segregation of duties. She got the mail. And when she was out of town on a horse show, she had a relative go pick up the city's mail. Like, not her underling. She had a relative do it. That's what we call a clue. Whether you're a small business owner, you have to get to your bank statement first.
Right.
So the town of Dixon thought they only had 6 bank accounts. They had 7. And she hid the 7th one. So fast forward, how she got caught, she was, she was so generous. She would take a lot of vacation time, which is unusual for an embezzler because usually they have to cover themselves, but she would take vacation time and she's like, you know what? I won't take it with pay. Yeah, well, she's stealing millions of dollars and she's paying herself. So she would sit there like, gosh, she's so generous. She's like, she's going on vacation and we don't have to pay her. So she goes away and her underling, Kathy, oh my God, I'm going to forget her last name. Kathy, let's just call her Kathy.
Why do we call her Kathy Discover? I'm trying to do an aptonym. Kathy
Smarty
Finder. Kathy Smarty Pants. That's what she was. Okay.
Yeah. So Kathy Smarty Pants, it's month end and she doesn't have the bank statements. So she calls the bank.
Oh,
and
boy.
this is kind of funny because when's the last time you used a fax machine? And she's like, I need all the statements. Fax them to me. I think it was a fax. Maybe it was an email, but I'm pretty sure it was fax. All of a sudden, she gets 7 bank accounts. Prior to that, she would ask for the numbered accounts, and she only would ask for 6. But Rita wasn't there, and she said, send me all accounts.
Wow.
Number 7 comes, and as I understand it, as it goes, she looks at the 7th bank account, and she sees American Express. She sees all of these things. She goes out to her car during lunch hour, and she's having a panic attack.
Oh, wow.
So she goes home over the weekend. She comes in to the mayor. Rita's still on vacation.
Right.
And she goes, I got to talk to you. And she goes, I think Rita has been stealing. And he's like, wait, this is Rita you are talking about. Rita. And she's like, now, if he were in on the gig, Kathy Smarty Pants would be 6 feet under. But he wasn't, thank goodness. Luckily, he's not in on it. But if he were, we would never know the name Rita Crundwell, except if you bought expensive horses. So he's like, okay, you need to just quiet down. He calls the FBI, and the FBI starts investigating, and they meet with Kathy. And they make Kathy, for almost 4 months, pretend everything is normal. Meanwhile, she's getting all sorts of documentation to prove the case against Rita. And she has to be normal in front of Rita when she is realizing how much money she has stolen.
Right.
So one day in April, so it's like 4 months, she goes into Jim Burke, the mayor, and she's like, I'm done. I'm out. I cannot do this. My mental and physical health is bad. And he's like, today's the day. Just quiet. And, you know, her boyfriend was like, what is wrong with you? Like, it was noticeable, her stress. Because she was having to lie to someone who was lying to her for 20 years. It was hard. Can you imagine doing that?
Oh,
So-
like they went back all that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Kathy, Smarty Pants, and Rita were 20 years,
I don't know if it's a full 20 years, but it was a long time.
but it's a long time. It was
Yeah.
Yeah, a relationship. Yeah.
So Jim Burke, the mayor, calls Rita. He's like, hey, Rita, can you come to my office? And this is delightful. So, you know, she probably goes up there and thinks that, you know, she's going to have to manipulate Jim again. And sitting in her office, his office, are 2 FBI agents.
Right.
The gig is up. And this is what goes to pink collar crime and, you know, how it happens. They confess. So
Really?
for 90 minutes, she sang like a canary.
Oh.
And then this is my anecdotal rule. Whatever someone steals, and you ask them how much they stole, but we don't use the word stole, you know, we make it so they feel good about confessing.
Right.
There's 2 to 6. Whatever number they stole, multiply it between 2 and 6. They asked her, how much money did you take? She said 10 million. 53.7, right in my range of 2 to 6.
Huh.
Wow.
So you had mentioned earlier about like catching it. So another huge part of the story, and you guys are going to like this part of the story, it's the town of Dixon. They get audited.
Oh no.
Where are the auditors? Oh God, it's delightful. Oh my God, it's so delightful. So the head auditor, oh, he liked Rita. Oh, he liked her. And she manipulated him. Long story short, there is a deposition online that you can get of when he is deposed about Rita.
Yeah.
And they're asking him about professional skepticism. And he's like, what's
Right.
that? And then they're asking him about relationship with an auditee. No, I was never taught that. So when I teach this class, I'm like,
He didn't know what professional skepticism was?
yeah. And he also said
Oh,
he
boy.
had never had any training about you shouldn't, you know, want to shtup. Oops, G-rate, go away. You shouldn't, and they didn't. But he clearly was very fond of Rita.
So
And
you're
she
saying, like, just to get at it, are you saying, because Rita was uninteresting, but not to the partner of the audit firm?
Yeah, no, she worked him, man. Hashtag never underestimate a woman. She saw
Did they
that.
have a relationship?
Well, he wanted her meatloaf recipe, so clearly she had cooked him meatloaf.
Is that a metaphor? What? No, okay.
I don't want to get sued. This is
All right. Yes. All right. Well, that's true. That is not a metaphor for
So,
legal
but if you
reasons.
read
All right.
the deposition, the audit firm also did Rita's personal taxes, which were quite complex because of all of the horses and expenses. They knew about the bank account before, and they never went. So let's just say that the audit firm, which is now a different audit firm, their liability insurance paid $40 million to the town
Wow.
of Dixon because they
Really?
clearly were negligent. Like, you got to read the depositions, and I can send you some perfect quotes from it. I mean,
We'd
you're
love
just
to read the
dying
deposition.
laughing. You were like, how could these people be so blind? So he's, you know, he was like 102.
Rita seems to have some game going on, though. A little
No,
bit.
she's
You know?
a very attractive
to be
woman.
honest with you, I think she's kind of interesting. Josh, what do you feel about Rita right now?
Once I learned that, you know, or Kelly, you shared that she was able to kind of manipulate this auditor, that makes me think, yeah, she thought this through and had like people skills as well as just
Oh,
being
yeah.
passionate for horses.
Yeah. And so, but the other thing I wanted to ask you, so you, in pink collar crime, are you saying that women are more likely to like confess upon the first question? Did you do this? And there's more likelihood of them saying yes and maybe understating the amount?
So I recently did a training for an ACFE IIA chapter in Texas, and a guy came up to me afterwards, and he was let's just say 3-letter agency that maybe starts with an F and ends with an I. And I asked him, I'm like, did you have any issue with my pink collar crime presentation? And he's like, yeah, I had one big issue. And I'm like, oh God, here it comes. And he goes, they don't confess. And I was like, oh, interesting. You're a dude. I'm a woman. I'm nice. I'm not badge heavy. And funny thing is, I had someone come up to me, different from him, who worked at that same agency. And she's like, I've got this agent and he cannot get a confession to save his soul. And I'm like, send a woman in with him. Good cop, bad cop. Rita confessed. I have had, in my experience, 100% confession rate. These people don't see themselves as criminals. They see themselves as, oh, maybe I made a mistake, maybe some bad decisions. But they don't see them as some person who lives on the wrong side of the tracks, who's poor, who has mental defects, who's riding around in a bad car and carries a weapon. Their weapon is the checkbook.
So yes, they don't see the bad.
And
That's
they look
interesting.
like us. They don't look icky.
Right. Yeah, it's always shocking to see a photo of, someone who's been doing this decade-long embezzlement thing, and they often just look at normal people, and, it's, and in some sense, it makes you more suspicious of people in general.
So it's interesting. I love making slide decks for presentations. And this reminds me, I used to, I'm sure I have it in one of my slide decks. I would do a mugshot, where they do like 6. Yeah. I would put the pink collar criminal in. No one ever picked them out. They'd pick out the bad guys or the scary looking women. And when I do presentations, I could put a pink collar criminal. And again, it's position, not gender. In the United States, 90% of bookkeepers are women.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah. Mm-hmm. It makes me think, too, like with the auditor, they had a warm relationship or a cozy relationship, and they exchange a meatloaf recipe, and
I could never find the meatloaf recipe online.
I'll do some digging. That'll be part of the care package we share.
Send me a meatloaf. I don't like meatloaf.
I don't know if meatloaf travels well, but we can get it freeze-dried. But in movies, film noir movies, there's always a femme fatale, and someone who's very glamorous and sexy, and that's one way to be in a relationship. But another is just to be kind of friendly and down-home cooking. And it's something about, I know I can be manipulated by a woman's charm at times. And why not? Why wouldn't that be exploited for fraud? If that's part of the toolkit, it makes total sense to me.
One question I did have, so they had that 4-month period, right? So Kathy Smarty Pants brought the news to the mayor. Did anyone drive by her home at this point? I just feel like the FBI would just need to go and go, this woman is making $55,000 a year, maybe change over time, and she's got to have a massive land area for all these horses. And she's throwing these parties.
So she had a couple of farms, one in Wisconsin. Okay. So she actually bought her parents' house, the house she grew up in. But she remodeled it, and I can send you the clip of that too. Oh my God, Horsey! She is just over the top, horseshoes and tiles, and and the marshals came in, and they auctioned everything off. That's how we got things like this.
Yeah.
But people, her house wasn't like a 10,000 square foot house. She did not show up to work, and I say a Lambo. Right. She showed up in probably, if you look at the auction, the amount of trucks she had and gators, like men are just salivating over these. Like she had the nicest trucks.
But she really did seem like she took segregation of duties in another way to her advantage. She's this is my life with the horses and the gators and the trucks. And this is my life as a controller at the city of Dixon, which is Rita dressed very casually, not in any descriptive way, bringing meatloaf. You would never think she would do that.
She played on the auditor's softball team.
Man, whoa.
That's cozy.
Don't play on the softball team and be committing. The auditors don't look great here. And I am a former auditor, so I feel like this podcast in particular has hurt. I didn't know Comptroller.
Are you thinking back anyone who's been too nice to you, sending you gifts, saving you a spot on their softball team?
I feel like something like this has happened, and I might need to look back at my banking records.
Auditing is a sample. It's just a sample. And if you provide the right sample, you're going to pass.
Well, they got the 7th account, so they had you just mentioned, right?
Well,
So
but they didn't get the 7th account for a while. But once they got it, they did nothing with it.
Can I ask? I just want to know how Rita got caught here. I just want a little bit. So Rita's on vacation. Kathy, who has been working with Rita, never knew about this. What was the events that made her ask for that 7th account? Like, what was it different than in the past?
I think Rita always provided her with the accounts, but Rita was on vacation. And I've heard one story that she was like in Dubai buying a horse. I don't know if that was
so. This
true
is
or
something
not.
that she made a mistake, Rita, because Rita in the past when she was on vacation.
Oh, and this is how all of them end up. It's a mistake. Someone gets sloppy. It's how all of them end up.
Right. She's in Dubai selling horse semen, and because we've gone there, might as well buying it, selling it, whatever one does with horse semen. Yeah, so in that case, you normally would control the bank statements because she doesn't want anyone to maybe ask the questions that Kathy did, and then she just slipped up in this case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is she did it for 20 years. She got a little comfortable.
I see. She didn't think much of Kathy, maybe. Maybe it's a good run.
Yeah, probably.
It's a good run. That's a championship run. And $53 million. Think about this. So the other thing, too, just to explore, $53 million, this is not Chicago. This is outside of Chicago. The Dixon, as far as I remember, is not a big town. Is it?
So there's another real interesting twist. And Kelly Richmond Pope, I don't know if she addresses it in the movie or I've seen her present elsewhere, is there's another town, Sterling, Illinois. Very similar demographics and everything. Sterling's got a pool. They've got as many bullets as they want. They don't have plot holes.
Right.
They've got snow machines. Apparently, allegedly, they sent a letter to the city council of Dixon saying, "What's up with you guys? We're similar and we got all sort. We got a pool. You guys don't. You have a pothole." And from what I've heard from Kelly Richmond Pope, that letter never made it to the city council, probably because it went to the P.O. box that Rita got. Rita has never spoken to anyone besides her attorney.
So she's never gone to a media tour.
Yeah, she has not done the media tour.
Right.
She's never spoken to anyone besides her attorney and probably her family.
Wow.
What is left of it.
She did own up when confronted.
Yeah.
Which is curious.
But she hasn't talked to anyone since.
I'm just curious about that moment. To me, that suggests someone who, wanted to get it off her chest in some way. 19 years of it building, and finally the dreaded moment came and she spilled the beans and then quickly got herself together and only talked to the lawyer or whatever. But that moment just seems like, I guess she just knew, the FBI is here. It
wasn't a complicated case. Money here goes here. I mean, I joke that the money is here, it goes to Panama, it goes to Switzerland, and it goes to Bitcoin. They didn't have a hard time tracking it. That's embezzlement cases. That's why I like embezzlement cases. I'm not a CPA. Money here goes here.
Well, nobody's going to... This is not a recruiting episode for CPAs, I'll tell you that. Or auditors. They're going to have to do some fence mending after this. But it's funny because it is... The connection is not money to Switzerland, to wherever, to Bitcoin. It's money from Dixon to her to horses and other things too, right? I mean, there were other things she bought, but so I wonder, and this is where we try to humanize Rita a little bit. She made meatloaf, or gave a meatloaf recipe. It wasn't that she was funding organized crime. We're not, she was her own interest in horses. Do you think she may have wanted to have gotten caught when she went to Dubai and didn't take maybe she's like, in the back of her mind, maybe this is like, I'm in Dubai. I mean, this is the end for me.
Well, if she was in Dubai, but she was on vacation. You know what? My experience is that, like, eventually they know they're all going to get caught. She did have a really good run. I think physically and emotionally, it takes a huge toll. And you walk into an office and you've got 2 FBI agents there, you're going to spill, probably. Now, if she's a grifter, like a con woman, she might not spill, because a lot of con artists think they're smarter than everyone else and they don't actually spill. But she's like, the gig is up.
Okay. She knew it had come to the end, and it might as well just tell them, below the value of what she actually stole, but tell them what happened.
This is the other thing. Is like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's Dixon, Illinois. Who cares? Like, their taxes went up. No. In the United States, that case cost every taxpayer in the U.S. money. She was in prison. The investigation costs, they had to, because there were horses, they couldn't starve the horses and let them die. It was an asset. They had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars every month to keep the horses alive, veterinary bills, hay, all that. They had tons of FBI agents. So these cases cost everyone. It's not isolated to some municipality.
That's a good point. What's cool about the audit getting sued is some $40 million was returned. I imagine that was the lion's share. It seems like whenever they have these cases, not that much money is recovered. Like, I don't know, if you can sell 400 horses. If it's an auction, maybe someone with expertise could get a lot of money out of that if they had time to do it. But if you're just like clearance sale, whatever, probably someone got some good deals on those horses.
Hashtag no one steals to save. Everyone steals to spend. And she spent it on hay and diamonds. And she had a $2 million motorhome. She kept upgrading their motorhomes. Yeah, someone got a crazy good deal. I think they paid like $700,000 for their $2 million.
It's actually kind of good to, like, once these things happen, to get on the auction side of this.
I want to buy a few things, because there's a woman who stole $40 million from the Yale School of Medicine. She has a Louis Vuitton bag with the pink V. I want it.
Right.
And they sell these for like pennies on the dollars, because who's going to buy a Louis Vuitton bag that has a pink V on it? Me.
Well, you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
and then,
another...
like, she had a SpongeBob SquarePants like belt buckle. I mean, with diamonds.
I want that.
I mean, you got to watch the movie, because it's so like visual and you see it. And her house wasn't 10,000 square feet. She added on to it, but it wasn't obscene.
Right. Yeah. Well, she is spending the money though, right? She maybe not on the house, but on other things. I wonder, like, would it have been fun to be friends with her? If, like, on the other side, would you, like, $2 million motorhome, SpongeBob SquarePants, the horses.
Boyfriend. She had a boyfriend.
Good for him.
McKittrick. I think James McKittrick. She created a whole economy. She had people working at her farm. In this podcast, they interviewed people that took care of her horses. And all of a sudden, that's gone. So these people who had spent years living off of Rita, and they thought she was legit. And all of a sudden, they're gone.
There's a Rita industrial complex that ended with Rita. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that before, because the fraud was so
large.
A
lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost their jobs. So Josh, diversify people.
Josh, how do you feel about Rita? Like, what's your feelings here?
I don't know. I feel like it just seemed kind of greedy and just wanted the status of horses and that lifestyle. And like the SpongeBob belt buckle, diamond encrusted buckle, that's just arrogance. Like, I feel like I have less sympathy with her the more we find out about her sort of what she put her money toward. Because you're right, like that town, like, you go to a little town and it's got potholes, and you just feel like, those people deserved to have their roads fixed.
Right.
They had to go to the next town over. It made me think of like Springfield and Shelbyville. Like, Shelbyville's got a pool. Why don't we have a pool? Like, that's so sad.
That's exactly what it is. It's the
So
Simpsons.
then this is a whole other thing, is like everyone in the town knew about it. And what do you tell your kids? Like, we have to go to Sterling for the pool, because remember that mean old lady who stole all the money?
Right.
Like, kids shouldn't learn this lesson. Like, they just shouldn't learn that, like, you know, she was very well known. Everyone knew her in town.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, these kids are like, who probably rode horses or saw her horses. That's the woman who stole? That's why we had to drive to Sterling and my parents, like, busted a tire because we hit a pothole? Like, I mean,
this is generational scar. This thing.
Yeah.
I don't feel good, Rita. I think she hurt the city of Dixon. They got to go to Sterling. I don't like that. I don't like to go to Sterling. And Sterling, you know, Sterling's a terrible city that's putting this on. Look, we would have never got caught for fraud. We have internal controls. We don't make meatloaf for our auditors. Look at that, Dixon. Don't go to Dixon. There could have been a big migration from Dixon to Sterling. I don't know. It's just, I don't feel great about Rita and maybe the collateral damage. I wonder, is she's from Dixon, is she going to come home again? You said her sentence has been commuted.
Yeah, she's home. Now, they sold her house, and I think they sold it to a maybe like distant relative, but it was auction, and they didn't get near what, you know, she put into it. There was a point when she got let out of the prison system before her sentence got commuted, that because she had health issues, she moved in with her brother, and there's a local news reporter who tries to interview her brother. Oh my God, it's not G-rated, let's just say. And he's just like, get the bleep. They have to bleep it.
This isn't Dixon?
Yeah.
Oh,
she's
wow.
in Dixon.
She went home.
Oh,
wow.
she went home. Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. That's gotta be, that's the tough part, right? I mean, again, I'm not sympathizing with her, but if that's her home, that's her home. Because that's real from the Amish fraud. He had to go back to that community. That's his community. And she had to go back. I guess she could have gone to Wisconsin if she had a farm, but they probably sold all those things, right? So she had nowhere else to go.
I doubt her boyfriend would take her in.
I wonder if they're still together. Maybe she should find that audit partner.
Yeah,
Reestablish that relationship.
He was like 102.
That's also very old. There's several things that went wrong with that audit, but having a 102-year-old audit partner is, I think, so I knew about this case, Kelly, a little bit, but not in this level of detail. This is crazy. You know, it's also because of not necessarily how she did it, but what the effects were in the city and what she spent it on. Whereas we're coming into the end, Josh, do you have any other questions you have around this in terms of things you want to know from Kelly?
No, but I think one of my takeaways was hashtag no one steals to save. I really like that. Like, that's
hashtag no one steals to save.
I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll steal, 500,000. Half of that will go in the bank and I'll retire in 30 years. But yeah, that's not the mentality we have here.
Hashtag no one steals to pay taxes except Nathan Mueller. You don't see embezzlement. So when you see a news story, you won't see that they stole the money. You'll see that the FBI or the IRS arrested them for failure to pay taxes on the stolen money. That's a much easier case to prove. This is the other thing.
So true.
These cases rarely go to trial. I never went to trial when I was a special agent, worked for the sheriff's office, or when I was on my own, because they confess. They rarely go to trial. If they go to trial, it's probably bad police work, bad lawyering.
Wow.
When she got sentenced, usually with white-collar crimes, when you get sentenced, they usually give you a couple months to kind of tidy things up with your family and, horses and stuff like that. She was remanded into custody instantly. That is very unusual in white-collar crime cases.
Yeah,
Flight risk. Got her Dubai.
I don't think she was a flight risk. I think they went into
she's going to get on a horse and just...
Yeah, she could have gotten on a horse and just galloped into the sunset.
Yeah, no, that would have been... That'd be
Gone
Butch
to
Cassidy.
Dubai. She could have gone to Dubai.
We have all kinds of stories for Rita where she's going to get... I think in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, even though that movie ended in a way that's not great for Rita if she's going the same direction. Josh, your feelings here, there's been an unstated objective of this to maybe help you think about how to commit fraud. Josh, what has this case done for you?
Yeah, recruit pink-collar professionals. They're trustworthy, and they have charm, and they can provide great cover for... I think we want to believe these pink-collar criminals maybe more than some schlub. And yeah, that's a big takeaway for me.
Okay. So that means you're going to get involved, your wife, if you were going to,
If I'm smart about it, yeah, she'll be a big part of it.
So which leads to, and I like to say this, is money is replaceable. Like, it's a tangible thing. And they did get money back from, the auditors, the bank, and a different accountant. They got a lot of money back. But the trust, everyone in Dixon, they've had to change the form of government. And when I've had cases that I've done on my own, it's the trust breach that is devastating. You know what? You'll have insurance. You can sell more widgets. You cannot just make trust appear.
Right. Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to say they changed the name of the town. I thought like, we're no longer Dixon. We're Sterling 2.0. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Because Dixon, this is like, I know Josh is the first time you heard this, but when I hear Dixon, by the way, my CPA license is from Illinois. But when I hear Dixon, I think about this city. So there's an association with that. I just kind of want to visit it now. Because I wonder if you could have an industrial complex about Rita now. Could Dixon open up a museum, get some money this way? Rita Crundwell, even though that's celebrating it, they got to, maybe, I don't know, be a place to bring tourists in. Hey, this is where Rita Crundwell, an interactive tour. You touch you touch animatronic horses. I got it all designed in my head. I think that would work. It's a bit, I'll propose it. I'll propose it to the city of Dixon, or Josh's wife will, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You've got another career coming. Tour guide, embezzlement tour guide. I just went to my local courthouse the other day because a woman who stole from a sober living house that she founded. So that's going to be on my LinkedIn, but hashtag pink collar crime field trip. And I don't know if you've been in court, but in court, it's kind of like a wedding. You've got the bride side and the groom side, but no, you have the prosecution side and the defense side. So I'm writing up a post about it. And the word that came across most, tragic.
That one is a tough one. That one that one's going to be that's already, my heart is broken by hearing just the very few details that you're going to go through and more. Is that on the podcast? That's where you're going to?
No, I'm just going to do LinkedIn.
You're going to do LinkedIn?
I'm going to try and meet with some of the people, though.
Okay.
Cool.
I like how you get very hands-on with this. You're buying stuff. You're meeting with them. Josh, we got to do more of this. We bought the fruitcake. Maybe we got to level up. Dixon. Buy something I don't know if our budget can afford much from Dixon, but we can get something.
I just hope they got their pool. That's like, I'm going to do some Googling. Get their pool?
Yeah. I don't think they have gotten a pool.
No. It's just the pot. I mean, you could put water in a pothole.
Yeah.
Call it a pool?
Yeah. Big pot.
I think they're going to reject many of my ideas at Dixon, but I'm thinking about them. Well, thanks, Kelly, for doing this. It's a fantastic case. It's a lot of things to unpack here, but we've actually talked about a lot of the major themes because you'll find them in your cases: the segregation of duties, where there were red flags along the way, the fraud risk triangle. There's a lot here, but of course, this case also is extremely specific and I guess entertaining. I want to listen. Are you gonna watch the documentary, Josh?
Yeah, I'll check it out. I want to see her, her lavish lifestyle.
I want to see her lavish lifestyle. I wonder if she will do some media at some point, or you don't think so?
I'm not a betting person, but I'm going to say no. She's going to the grave.
You think so?
Yeah.
I got an idea. If you wanted to bring her out, just say, hey, 5 horses for an interview. Done.
I don't know if you could afford those type of horses.
It'd be a very expensive interview. See, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know how much a horse costs. But no, Kelly, thanks for being here. It was awesome. Your energy is amazing, and it was great to go through this case. Listen to Fraudish and pink collar crime, which we've learned a lot about. And thanks for listening to this episode. And we'll keep up to date. We'll see what happens with Rita.
Okay, thank you so much. I love being on this side of the mic. And you said energy, and that is the one word that everyone's like, oh my God, where do you get your energy? It's like, because it's so fascinating to me when good people make bad decisions. They are not mistakes. They are decisions.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks, Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly.
Well, thanks for listening. If you have any questions or comments or cases that you'd like Josh and I to go through, thefraudcomplex@gmail.com is the email address for us, and we'd love to hear from you. We've been hearing from one person that's related to one of us, but others that are out there, love to hear from you. We'd love to also see you rate us on Spotify or Apple and to get your feedback. But thanks for listening.